Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. So inshallah ta'ala today, I'm not sure if somebody has done this already. If they have, forgive me, it's just maybe I had to check the schedule. Just to give you an idea of Surah Al-Fath, maybe I must have covered this last year or maybe in some other masjid, but whenever you hear the word Fath, and even if I ask somebody, they generally tend to think about obviously Fath Makkah. Surah Al-Fath itself, it comes after a particular incident. We'll focus only on 3 ayahs, nothing too much, so you can take something away from this reminder, inshallah ta'ala, because this is mostly a reminder and not a complete seer course or a tafsir course that we're trying to do. So 3 ayahs we'll focus on. Inshallah ta'ala, Rahim will recite from ayah number 1 and ayah number 18, and then ayah number, inshallah ta'ala, the third ayah that we'll recite from also is 28 from Surah Al-Fath. So inshallah, if you guys are planning on staying back, you can try to read upon these 3 ayahs, and I'll mention the story behind ayah number 1 and the other 2 ayahs that we'll recite, inshallah. Bismillah. Start with the first ayah and then I'll
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا. He's talking about this victory, a pure victory, a clean victory. Now this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ recited to Umar when he was questioning a certain decision that the Prophet ﷺ himself had made. And by some of the statements some of you might be aware of, that is, أَلَسْنَا عَلَى الْحَقِّ, aren't we upon the truth? And he even questioned them saying, aren't the ones who die on their path in the hellfire and the ones who die in our path in Al-Jannah? So there are certain things that he was asking him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ tells Umar ibn al-Khattab that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not misguide him, and then he recited upon him this surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now what exactly happened in Sulh al-Hudaybiyah? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sees this dream that he himself and the companions are doing Umrah, that is, they're entering upon Mecca. At this point of time, they've just been through so many battles between the Mushrikeen and the Muslimin. So there were battles back and forth. Now, obviously, since this is a ruya, this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he commands his companions and himself, they all go in ihram, and on their way they were stopped. I won't go into all of the details, but they were stopped. And there was, let's say, back and forth. They were deciding on what is going to be the result. Are they going to be allowed? Are they going to be entered into Mecca? Are they going to perform Umrah? So one of the things that happened was Uthman radiallahu anhu, the 4th Khalifa, the 3rd Khalifa, when he went in to have this negotiation, when they were waiting, what happened was there were rumors that spread amongst the Muslimin that Uthman ibn Affan has been killed. And obviously this was a rumor because Uthman eventually does come back. But before he comes back, the Prophet ﷺ takes a bay'ah, to fight for whatever that had happened, because there was a rumor that spread amongst them that he was killed. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of the people who took bay'ah, who swore the oath of allegiance to the Prophet ﷺ, that they will fight. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of this ayah, that is ayah number 18. We'll just recite this ayah, inshallah ta'ala.
لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة فعلم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأثابهم فتحا قريبا.
believers. Who are these believers? إِذَا يُبَاعِيُونَكَ, the ones who gave bay'ah under the tree. فَعَلِمَ مَا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what is in their hearts. Now, one of the things is that this is also one of the honors. One is Badri, and one of the others is the ones who gave bay'ah to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam during Sulh al-Hudaybiyah. This is again an honor, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirms this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what is in their hearts. So فَأَنزَلَ السَّكِينَةِ, descended upon them was this tranquility. فَأَثَابَهُمُ اللَّهُ فَتْحًا قَرِيبًا, and He, what does He do? He gives them obviously a fath, a victory that is close. And the first ayah we recited also was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed that this is a fath. Now, one of the things He gives them because of the Sulh al-Hudaybiyah also was Islam also spread. Now, there were certain conditions that were put upon the Muslimin. One of the things is Suhail ibn Amr, when he came to negotiate with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the first things he said, that you will not do Umrah this year. So that means you have to go back. So you will not be allowed to do Umrah this year. Now one of the other conditions is that he mentioned is that from any of us, if they become Muslim, for us to accept this treaty, if anybody becomes Muslim, you have to send him back. That means even if they become Muslim and they come to you with the concept of hijrah, you cannot accept them. And if they do come to you, you have to give them to us. Now the third thing also is that one of the things they mentioned is obviously there will be peace between them for 10 years now. There's going to be peace for 10 years. Now some of the scholars, they say from this is that because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned 10 years whenever you do a treaty between the non-Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, they would limit the time to 10 years. But obviously this is not something that you can emphasize in today's day and time. But what we know, there were two people. There was one specific Sahabi who actually escaped from Mecca and he went to the Prophet ﷺ and he refused to take him. Now obviously he didn't surrender him to them, but he refused to take him. Now this very condition that they thought that this will be in their advantage, because there was a treaty, now the Prophet ﷺ could reach to the other people that are surrounding him. In fact, he sent so many letters calling people towards Islam. So that means Islam could spread without an issue. The other one was the people now who couldn't go to Medina, they started camping and they would attack the caravans of the Quraysh. That means all the caravans that were passing by in that direction, they would attack them, so much so they got so annoyed and they told the Prophet ﷺ, in the name of kinship, take them back, we remove this condition from you later on. So Islam spread at this point of time, because for the mu'mineen it was something that was very, very saddening to them, because to see their own people being sent back was something very difficult. But this very condition became a very big blessing, and they themselves wanted to get rid of this condition. Now what was this dream that eventually becomes true? That is in the next coming year, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, it was a ru'ya, but it was not a ru'ya that happened that year, but it was a vision or a dream that were to follow the next coming year, and that's the last ayah that we recite inshallah.
لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق لتدخلن المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمنين محلقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون فعلم ما لم تعلموا فجعل من دون ذلك فتحا قريبا.
لقد صدق الله رسوله. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed that what was given to him, that ru'ya, that dream, that this was confirmed, this was truthful. Because in the next coming year, Here it mentioned لَتَدْخُلَنَّ الْمَسْجِدَ الْحَرَامِ, that you shall enter, this is لَمُ تَأْكِيد, you shall enter Masjid al-Haram. Obviously the ones who were shaved, the ones who cut their hair, insha'Allah amini, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, safely. رؤوسا مقسم لا تخافون, and then you shall not be afraid. Now, in the beginning, obviously, when they were told to agree upon this treaty, and this was obviously something that Prophet ﷺ agreed with the mushrikeen, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best if it was wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it was a command, or it was ijtihad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, but this is something we know that Prophet ﷺ agreed. And at that point of time, what would have seemed apparently like as though this treaty was unjust to the Muslims, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed to them that this was going to be a Fathun Mubin, a clear and plain victory. And their numbers grew immensely because of the da'wah things, the opportunities that could, and the people who had their Islam now could openly profess their Islam. So for us, whenever we listen to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what may seem difficult to us, brothers, we have to understand whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, this is good for us, because this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all-knowing, the all-hearing, the all-seeing. So this, just like how the Sahaba at that point of time, they did not understand the hikmah, but later on they knew some of the benefits that they themselves saw, but they submitted because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, this is a plain victory, brothers. So just like that, now when we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising us that Jannah is for the mu'mineen, and whatever we're doing, all the qiyam and the siyam, this is going to be a reward for us in this dunya and in the hereafter. We have to believe and act upon it firmly in our hearts, and we have to know that all of us, we are standing here sincerely for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers. So we may understand the wisdom and we may see it in our life, or we may not see some of the wisdom within our lifetime. So what is upon us is to submit to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers. So always when you hear a command, just say sami'na wa ata'na, and have this submission within our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq and the understanding. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Jazakumullahu khairan.